better. I'm not so.
All right, Commander, you've got until your next birthday to get that right.
It's candle time, birthday boy. Woo! All right. So what did you wish for, Will?
Music lessons.
Well, hello and good evening. Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 4, Episode 8, Future Imperfect. First aired back in 1990, but here in 2026 on Live Long and Podcast, we're just getting started. Whether you're joining us live on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, or catching your audio version wherever you get your podcasts, our mission to rewatch every episode of TNG continues, one illusion, one false memory, and one mind-bending twist at a time. This is your captain speaking. I'm your host, Dave Mader. Tonight, Commander Riker awakens 16 years in the future, and now the captain of the Enterprise, father to a young boy, and missing every memory of the years between. But as the cracks appear in this too-perfect reality, he begins to suspect that nothing around him is real and that someone else may be pulling the springs. Or strings. Not springs. Man, I'm a little washed out there, aren't I? Okay. So we had a whole panel set for this podcast, but you know what? Turns out it's going to be a dynamic duo here tonight. Myself and my co-captain here. She's tuned into every emotional beat, the shock of Riker's sudden future, the tenderness of his scenes with Jean-Luc, and the unraveling dread as the illusion collapses when the story plays with identity, memory, and longing. She feels every ripple. It's Heather Narduzzi.
Please address me as Mrs. Minuet Riker.
Or Min, just to throw us
Min,
off.
just Min.
Just Min.
If you're nasty.
It's not mid, so that's something. Yes, we are here talking about the 8th episode of Season 4, the 82nd episode overall of Star Trek The Next Generation, Future Imperfect, that aired on November 12th, 1990, directed by Les Landau and written by J. Larry Carroll and David Bennett Karen. For all the details there. Oh, and we may have one more of our panelists who has showed up. Something is very wrong here. Very, very wrong. And he's tracking the political and strategic layers, the suspiciously convenient Romulan involvement, and the too clean diplomatic setup, and the subtle clues that the scenario doesn't add up. When the narrative starts lying, he's already following the inconsistencies. It's Adam Woodward, everyone.
Something was very wrong, but I'm happy to be here now.
Well, welcome. I hope it's fixed.
Probably like the computer was lagging if you asked it a question or anything. You know, Jody's running a diagnostic, so.
For 4 hours?
It would take, exactly.
Norman says Adam is from the simulation only, obviously. It's Ambassador Adam.
I should
You're incapable of that level of incompetence, Mr. LaForge.
That's right.
Sam
Adam
says, yay, Adam.
Yeah, Adam. His picture is inconsistent.
Oh my God! Can you guys see me or hear me or what?
We can hear
We
you.
can hear you.
Okay.
But you're dark. Your screen is going dark.
All right. I'm gonna listen. I'll be right here.
It's okay. Like, we like seeing your face, but as long as we can hear you, it's
Now you've muted yourself.
now
I'm
we
here.
can't
I'm
hear
here. I'm
Okay,
here.
you're back. All right.
you. My guess is you have a loose connection on your camera or something.
Yeah, I think.
I'm having technical difficulties myself tonight. Don't have my normal lighting situation here. And
There
I'm
are a
feeling
lot
very
of
washed
lot
out.
of good speculation comments here in the chat. Norman says Adam is actually Barash.
He just did it like
And
this with
Sam
his
says
arms.
Adam is being attacked by the Borg. So I mean, if it's
It's
one
all,
of those,
it's all
I would hope
rumors.
it's
It's
Barash.
all rumors. I'm here.
rumors.
Rumors of my assimilation have been greatly exaggerated.
Exactly. I was just gonna say.
There you can. Well, yeah. And so we're talking about this episode where Riker thinks he's gone 16 years into the future. He can't remember. He's got amnesia, but it turns out all to be a ruse. First, we think it's the Romulans. Then we find out it's this alien guy, Barash, and it ends up with we find out Barash is a very sympathetic character that Riker must save. And I get, as much as I want to start with you, Heather, I think I need to start with Adam, because he's always ragging on Riker. He's become
Is it Adam or Mirror Adam tonight?
Well, we're gonna find out right here, because we'll see what he says about was Riker annoying you as much in this episode as he has been for the last couple seasons.
I really wanted to find him annoying me. Actually, he didn't annoy me as much as normal. However, and I had forgotten about this episode, didn't remember it, so I was surprised along the way. However, I had a reoccurring character to come back that I hated, and that's Minuet.
But she doesn't talk.
Good.
That's a plus.
And she doesn't smoke, and she's not wearing all the lip gloss and the hair, poofy hair, in this time. But
Carolyn McCormick, from Law and Order. Come on.
Minuet hater.
As soon as they said Min, I go, oh God, please. Why?
You had forgotten that was who it was?
That's right.
Norman says, wouldn't it have been a hoot if Riker's wife turned out to be Shelby instead?
That would have been.
I would have loved that. And he would have referred to her as Shell.
Yeah. And
like Min for Minuet. And then
Oh yeah, but
if
if it had been Shelby, oh my gosh, that would have been weird too. Like,
that would have
incredible.
been awesome.
Well, it would have worked, because he goes, there's no way in hell I would have ever married that one.
Yeah, he's like, you're telling me I had a kid with her? No way.
Yeah, it would have worked.
No way. Let alone like whether she would have kept being Riker's first officer. She looked like she was. We find out in Lower Deck she went on to become a captain, maybe even before he did.
There was another thing that, let's talk about that for a second. So they talk about his timeline, right? So he became captain 7 years or 6 years after.
They said 7 years ago.
7.
So 9 years after this, I guess. So how would that have that would have been less than what he did in the real timeline, because he did not accept promotion until 14 years after this episode.
Still ridiculous. Either way.
Yeah.
He's not captain material.
Captain of the Titan. And it was very interesting because, he talks about becoming a father. What kind of father would I be? We know that he does go on to become a father of 2 kids. And, tragically, he'll lose one before their time. But, but he didn't name the son Jean-Luc in that timeline.
They keep pulling the captain's chair out from you, and it never sits down.
Sits down. Heather, I'd like to ask you what you think of this episode.
I love this episode. This is one of the ones that I often put on to go to sleep. I really like this one. I just think it's fun. And I love Riker, as we know. And I think it's a great idea for an episode too, how he's like slowly figuring out that something's not quite right. And that the clues are there. The computer lagging, Min, and Adam, you said that you didn't really remember this episode on the rewatch, but then just now you said, when they said Min, I caught it right away. I did not remember that on original viewing. So that was smart to
know what? It's that character was so memorable for me as being just such a disappointing episode. I like the concept of it all, but for him to admit to Tomalak that he fell in love with a freaking hologram, he's proud of it.
Do you have a problem with holograms?
He does.
Are you a photon racist, Adam?
He's a photophobe. A photophobe.
A photophobe. That episode 11001001, which I memorized on purpose, was early in the run, so it definitely wasn't the strongest episode.
I like that episode more than Adam does. I remember when we reviewed it a couple of years ago. Like you were not in on it. I liked it more. I always have, and I remember so when I watched Star Trek: The Next Generation as a kid, mostly I watched it in syndication after because
City TV.
Right, or even before that in Montreal and ABC Channel 22 from Vermont, Burlington, Vermont. And so I watched this episode, Future Imperfect, before I ever saw 11001111. So like I was like, oh, okay, like who is Minuet? I had to kind of like go back and get that backstory.
I think it was just really clever to have that callback as the way that he realizes this is the simulation. You know, that's like a nice little Easter egg.
That was great. I'm glad I caught it, but I really didn't like that episode. I think I wish they would have had Minuet as a real person. That's all.
Well, but then he wouldn't have. No, well, I guess we're going back to the other episode. Norman says, like I said, this is the episode that got me to start watching Trek on a weekly basis back in 1990-91. I'd seen TOS reruns and a few TNG, usually the wrong ones, like Code of Honor. Right. So it starts, here for me. Whoops. If you're going to start watching TNG with Code of Honor, you're probably not going to finish watching it.
No, not a good entry point. I would say, although it's the third episode or the second episode, however you want to look at it, so it could definitely push away a lot of people early. For a show that is super episodic, I'm glad they had a rare callback. Yeah, and I think what was interesting for me watching this episodically back then was that I was like, oh, I want to understand who that character was. I wanted to know more. I found this episode very intriguing as a kid because it was kind of like a time travel story, but then it's not. You know, it turns out to be this big illusion. And what I think I really appreciated about this story when I watched it back then was that it was like, oh, no, this is all an illusion. And we think that it's the Romulans who are doing it. But then there's sort of like, there's a name for this, right? Where like there's the second misdirect. And like, oh, no, there was actually like an illusion inside the illusion.
Red herring.
A red herring.
I think is the word you're looking for, yeah.
Yeah, and that I was like, like the reveal's not even the reveal? That blew my mind, you know, at 10 years old or whatever it was. So definitely liked it more as a kid, I think, because I was watching it again and I know where it's going. So
right.
I'm watching it a little bit differently this time. And you know, it's okay, although Riker is so grumpy in parts of this. He's like, what do you mean I've lost my memory? You know,
right. Well, and I don't really like how they aged everybody either. Like it's only 16 years. Like particularly Troy, they took all her makeup off and made her pale and sallow-eyed and whatnot. And then Beverly had like red rims around her eyes and that grandma haircut.
She had that streak of gray in her hair, like she was.
Yeah, that's how they make women look older on the cheap. They're like, we'll just give you a frumpy haircut and take off all your makeup and put dark circles under your eyes. There, you're old. And we don't have to do any makeup work.
With the men, they mostly just put streaks of gray, like in Riker's beard. He just has these weird looking streaks of gray. Worf too, but Jody LaForge, he looks as young in this as he does in the previous,
in Roots.
Well, maybe we can chalk that up to the young fella's computer simulation not having enough RAM to seriously age everybody up.
Perhaps, yeah. He can't keep up with all this. Like,
no, it's hard work.
It's an imperfect science. So we are going to talk all about this. We're running through the screenshots. We were supposed to have Jody Simpson with us, but I think he either forgot or he fell asleep.
Or maybe he hates this episode and he didn't come in.
Maybe. I don't think.
No, that wouldn't stop him.
No.
No,
Well,
that
that's true.
if anything,
That's
that would
true.
motivate him. So let's jump into future imperfect and everything we saw in the episode.
And I love the opening scene. I think probably that's part of the reason I like this so much. I like any episode where they play music.
Some music at the start. The captain's log's basically like they're on a routine mission near the neutral zone, even though that could be scary. Nothing really has been happening, and now they're having a little celebration. And we start off here with Commander Riker's session in the 10 Forward Lounge.
They're all huddling around him, like ogling his.
Oh, Will,
horrible...
play the trombone, please. Play the trombone with a mute, but which is making it a little bit wow wow wow. If we want to hear a little bit of it, it's
Why are you guys such haters? He's playing the trombone on his birthday, and his friends are spectating.
Did you hear it?
It's meant to sound like that.
Oh, sorry, Commander. Play, and then they're coming off here,
and they all cringe. Oh God,
the best line in this episode is said by Troy.
Some things improve with age. Maybe your trombone playing will be one of them.
Yeah, I was like, what a bird. Some things improve with age. Maybe your trombone playing will be one of them.
Yeah.
May or maybe not. Perhaps not. That aperture doesn't quite get better, does it? I actually did learn the trombone in high school because Riker plays it in this show. I chose
That's so sweet, Dave. That's so nice.
I never knew that about you. There's a fun fact about Dave.
Fun fact about Dave.
Fun fact. Inspired trombone players around the world inspired by Jonathan Frakes.
This will come up again in Second Chances with playing Nightbird. Yes, it will. Another episode I love.
Yes. So he's having his birthday cake. They're all having a good time. They're making him laugh. What do you want for your birthday? Music lessons. Ha 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 ha.
Now I don't want to steal your thunder, Adam, but fun fact: this was an outtake. He forgot his line, and she's looking at him. If you see Troy's looking at him, he says it, and then he remembers and says, "Like, see how she's looking at him." Yeah. And then he says music lessons late, and they all laugh. And that was an outtake, and they kept it in because it's so genuine, like all of them laughing together. I love that fun fact.
Oh, that's fun. That is fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
So then up on the bridge, we got Picard and Data, who are meant to attend this party, but they, I guess, were, someone's got to get to keep the ship flying. So they were about to head down. Just then, Lieutenant Buzzkill says, "Hey, I got some weird readings over here. You better take a look. This is definitely not my problem. It's your problem, senior officers." And they're like, "Okay, better take a look." And so they do a scan, and basically Data finds something weird. Like there's a rumor of a secret Romulan base around. So they're going to need to go check this out. So Riker gets called. The birthday party gets ended early. They're not having a cellular peptide cake with mint frosting, but though it is got some similar characteristics.
It made me miss Deanna's cake, the Deanna cake.
The Deanna cake, yes.
Yeah, I like that.
So anyway, they head down or to the bridge to look at the readings. What could it be? We're not going to know until we go down there. Worf knows what's up. It's Romulans. It must be Romulans, which is part of the whole misdirect here. And just as Riker, Worf, and Jody are getting ready to beam down, we got a little, "Hey, number one, happy birthday, sir." And he's like, "Oh, thank you, sir."
I like this voice.
Yes, very formal. Our away team beams down to this planet, which looked kind of cool on some of the wider shots, I thought. It's kind of, there's air, I guess, but otherwise it's pretty barren and cave-like. The atmosphere here is, I don't know, they said it's got like methane and other chemicals in it, and that not very breathable, but I guess they're not going to suffocate quickly. But just then, they get the call from the captain, says, "We don't like those readings down there. We're going to beam you up." And he's like, "Okay, we're going to beam up." And then they all start coughing. They're hacking. The transporter chief, not O'Brien, some other crew member here, is left to beam them up. But there are interference. There's something interrupting the transporter signals, and they're trying to get through, but she cannot beam them up. And we see several times here where Riker is materializing and then dematerializing, and so on, as something's interfering with him here, and that leads into a transition, a bright transition that then comes into his point of view from his point of sight, and we're seeing that here. It's like, oh, Riker, you're waking up, Doctor, please come. And we see we hear Dr. Crusher, and then she emerges here in sick bay, which looks a little different. We see these screens hanging from up above. And Dr. Crusher, now, if you're paying close attention, yes, she's got a different haircut. Her comm badge is also different. It now has these bars behind it. There's no rank included on the Mandarin collar of this uniform style. And
Norman says introduction of Nurse Ogawa.
Is it?
We love Nurse. Yeah, it's the first time we see her in the future.
And it's not even the real Ogawa. It's like a hologram Ogawa.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah. Patty Yasutake, I believe her name was. She's great. I loved her.
Yeah, she has since passed, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And so Riker is able to look into one of the reflective surfaces on one of these monitors here in sickbay, and he says, "Captain, what do you mean, Captain?" And he goes, we see he look in the mirror. He's looking a little older. He's like, "What the hell? This can't be right." Dun, dun, dun.
And then he's like, "I look good though."
Yeah, like Silver Fox, how about that? And that is our teaser for the episode. What is going on? Riker is woke up in a whole new timeline. He's amnesia, space amnesia, perhaps. As Dr. Crusher, following the credits, is getting him some water here in this modified-looking sick bay. Subtle differences here, just in color of like things like the carpets and like the wall decorations and
Beverly's hair.
Her hair is not great.
Hates it. It's not good.
It's all like tied up and bugged around.
It's like, is that what they were trying to do with Janeway's hair? That was in the first season. That was atrocious too.
Yeah, it was not a great style here. We see a little bit here on Riker, all the gray that's been added to him. Now, this is 16 years later, so I guess Riker is roughly, 50 now, if this is following that timeline. And so that would make Beverly, I guess, closer to, 60 something, right? She's a little older than Riker. But anyway, that it's been 16 years since he was infected with this virus. He's told this whole story. You were infected with a virus in that cave down there, and that's what has led to this memory loss. Like it's we've been expecting this to come. You've been in a coma for weeks, or at least a week, maybe it was. And we didn't even know if you'll recover. You might get your memories back. You might not. She tries to do like he's like, explain it to me, and she tries to break down the science to him here, but he's like, "Doctor, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I'm a very suave captain, in training." And she was like, "Well, bottom line, we don't know if your memories will come back or not." It's rough here. So, he wants to head to his quarters, but he doesn't want to go to his quarters. He wants to go to the bridge. I don't know if we know that yet.
Okay, I'm going to rag on him a little bit here. The doctor is saying, "Go to your quarters." No, I'm going to the bridge. Yeah.
Very
and this is where it starts going off the rails for me a little bit with Riker.
We also noticed, just in the decoration here, a Klingon crew member other than Worf comes out of the turbo lift. You can see some of just this color they've added here to the panels. The doors have been changed a little bit. There's these little banister things that are now coming out on this side.
The chair rails.
Yeah, the chair rails. It's true hospital now.
I would like to point out, Adam, that it's very normal for captains to not heed the doctor.
It's actually expected.
Yes.
All right, go left. I'll go right. Okay, got it.
So he's like, speaking of changes, all these Klingon crew members. But so there's the first time we get the indication that there's something up here. It's like he asks for the turbolift to redirect and into the bridge, and it's like, what? We can't do that on the fly. And they're like that. He thinks that's weird. But eventually they do get to the bridge with Beverly, and he meets up here with Jody. And we're told that Jordy's doing computer diagnostics. That's why there was that little glitch in the turbolift earlier. But he doesn't have the visor anymore. You know, like he's like, "Where's your visor, Jordy?" He's like, "My visor? That was like years ago. I got cloned implants." And then we come around the bridge.
We have a Ferengi.
We have a Ferengi ensign at the con. Wesley Crusher nowhere to be seen in this episode.
And Worf says nothing.
Worf is now at ops, not at security anymore. He is now at the ops station. He's looking older and more busted, I would say.
His sash has a different little detail on the shoulder. See that?
Yeah, it's got like something else going on or some kind of emblem. But he's now he has this big scar down his face. That's, that will come up a little later.
And as Adam mentioned, he doesn't say anything.
No, he's very quiet. Very quiet. He has like maybe 5 lines in this episode.
And then we figure out why later, because the simulation can't handle it.
But even when it was the real Worf, he didn't say much either.
Well, that's true.
We meet the first officer with Riker in command of the Enterprise. It's Data, now in red. Now we see that the ranks are, as I mentioned, are on the comm badges now. I think we were talking about this on Monday. I kind of liked this at the time. In retrospect, I don't like it as much. I do prefer the ranks on the collars, especially for close-ups. But it was a nice kind of interesting way of displaying it. Like it kind of comes up in Discovery because all the Discovery ranks are on the badges and things like that. Anyway, just then Worf says, "Hey, there's a Romulan warbird decloaking," and of course, Captain Riker is like, "Well, I have to declare a red alert," and everyone's like, "You dummy, we're expecting this Romulan ship. Don't be so weird." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
But all right, understanding it's the ruse. However, okay, again, the doctor would have relieved him or never let him.
No, like this is completely reckless. If this is so important, there's no way you're letting this guy who's just been through a week of like being in a coma, doesn't know where he is hardly, and that you would actually expect him to do this. Like, even later on when he's talking to the Admiral Picard about it. He's like, "You can't be serious that you want me to lead these negotiations." I'm like maybe they trust me or whatever, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Anyway, so they hail them, and here on the bridge of the Romulan warbird, it's Admiral Picard, and now with Deanna Troi, who is now I think has the rank of commander. She's wearing the Starfleet uniform. Long hair before Jellicoe will make her wear it, like in season 5 or whatever that is.
So we'll go here now. Fun fact on this one. So yes, this is the first time she's wearing a real uniform since Encounter at Farpoint.
Yeah, interesting. Even though it's not the real her, but
Oh yes, and in Encounter at Farpoint, she had a little scant on, not like a pants uniform.
But at least we knew like her division color and all that stuff, right?
Now, do we like Picard's Admiral uniform? I love it. Yeah. Yes.
I like it. I do like it. It's simple enough. It stands out enough that it's different.
And there's no freaking gold piping on it.
Yes, there is.
There is, but it's subtle. It's not too. It's not.
I love it. Sparkles.
I can take it when it's like this.
And I think it was interesting how they did like the badge with the ranks, because they make his Delta gold and then the bars behind are silver instead. And there was some nice like little design choices here that they made in the episode, just to make it feel like oh, this is the future, even here with Picard on this Romulan set with Deanna, and they have this little toy model Deridex warbird model here on the table. I want that. Wherever that is, I'm going to find it and I'm going to get it. One way or the other.
I had a little tiny one, like a key change size.
I have the
that's
the Micro Machine style.
Yeah.
But yes. Anyway, so
I love that ship. I think it looks so slick. I really like it.
Beautiful. One of my favorite ship designs ever. The Deridex class warbird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then Admiral Picard and Troi beam over to meet up with Riker, and like Dr. Crusher's like, "Oh, the amnesia's pretty bad." They go to the conference room to talk more about it, where they're like, 16 years of your life, that's pretty bad. anyway, and Riker's more like, forget all that. Why are you on a Romulan ship? What is going on? Why are you an admiral? And Picard's like, listen, 4 years ago, you saved the Romulans, and it led to this whole trust thing, and now we're negotiating this new peace treaty, and everything's going great, and it's all thanks to you, Captain Riker. So we need you to finish off these negotiations. And he's like, what? I can't do that. Like, that's crazy. Like, I'm not the person. Like, I am not fit for duty. And the Admiral says, tell that to my goatee. What do you think of that? Do we like Picard's goatee?
No.
No. Too much of a mirror. And he's got the longer bowl cut or whatever you call it.
It's just, it looks like bad wiggery. It's not good. I do not care for it. He's so handsome, and that goatee is no.
Don't need it. Anyway, so after that meeting ends, Riker, says, "Okay, I hope I don't find any more surprises today." And we see fake Deanna makes a little bit of a face when he says that as they head to his quarters. Is anything like familiar to you here, Captain Riker? And he's like, well, I guess. Like, I see that Horgon on my desk. That's making me feel at home. But just then, it's the trombone. And dun dun dun. Who is it? It is Jean-Luc Riker, the son of Captain Riker.
He's the son of Wesley Crusher, judging by his terrific sweater outfit.
That is a Wesley Crusher / Jake Sisko-esque outfit for sure.
No way, Jake Sisko would never wear something that bland. Jake Sisko is flamboyant with his color choice.
Jake Sisko definitely has more color, like oranges and purples and this kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, so wah, like there's this whole reaction here from Riker, like, I have a son, and he looks at Deanna, and then he double takes back to Jean-Luc. That seems to be the hair they used in the Picard Lives a Whole Life.
Yeah, I wonder if they saved it from this episode and reused it for the Inner Light. Probably.
Maybe,
wigs are expensive.
Yeah, Inner Light's coming up. I think it's this season. Anyway, so then after there's a commercial break after this revelation that Riker has a son, as his son is looking around the quarters for all his homework. But wasn't his even under this ruse, his father was supposedly in a coma for a week. You think he would be like, "Hey, you're out of your coma, Dad." He's kind of not too bothered by any of it. Anyway, so after he's like, "Okay, I'll come help you a little later," and there's kind of this moment here where finally young Jean-Luc walks away, and it's just Riker and Troy, and Riker's like, "A little heads up would have been nice," and she was like, "Well, Dr. Crusher thought this might suddenly jolt your memory, and then you would remember everything, and and he would cure you." He's like, okay, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but maybe, sure. And then he's like, I got a son. That's pretty cool, little young Jean-Luc, right? And he's kind of happy about it. And he's like, wait, where's the mom? Where's Mrs. Riker? Well, she died in a shuttle accident 2 years ago. No, it can't be. How could she be dead? This woman I don't even know. But
then she goes, again, a line that really bothered me. I don't know why, but it bothers me. She was a great captain's wife.
She was a great captain's wife.
What does that mean?
I don't know. That's something you expect someone to say in the Mirror universe.
A man wrote it.
This was written by two men. So you're right.
It sounds like yes, something from the ancient times or something where he was like,
yeah, it doesn't feel like a 24th century comment, even a simulated 24th century comment.
It doesn't even feel like a 20th century comment, in some ways, but it's kind of
well, I mean, I guess she's a great first lady, but
fair point, Norman.
Yeah,
something Rick Berman would put in a script. Yeah, you're probably right. Anyway, so Deanna's like, you have to be there for Jean-Luc. He's lost his mom, and now his dad has amnesia. You gotta be there
this
for
is
him.
Just after he was told to get briefed on the mission.
And you need to negotiate with the Romulans. You got a lot to do, Captain. Okay, tough to be the captain. So his son trying to play the trombone, just as bad as his old man, and he tries to demonstrate, but he also screws it up. He's like, you got to relax the muscles in your face and the aperture and everything else. It doesn't explain why he can't hit the note, but
embouchure.
Yeah,
Embouchure.
embouchure. I would say embouchure. Anyway, so then he tries to pull up his service record next on the computer, but the computer is slow, and he's like, this should come up in 10 seconds. Like, there's no reason that this should not work.
I felt that frustration starting on my computer for this episode tonight.
Yes.
Like, what century is this? It's, come on, let's go. I don't know. Like, if everyone's curious for what it says, we can have a look.
Enhance.
Commended by Captain Jean-Luc Picard for exceptional service during the Alpha Onias expedition. Citation reads, Commander Riker's leadership skills and his scientific ability were key factors in the mission. Like, that's the mission where he lost his memory, right? Like, supposedly, the Alpha Onias? Because that's what they keep referring to. Like, he didn't do anything. He beamed down and then he beamed back up, and that was his leadership in the mission?
Gallantry is misspelled. I'm always trying to find a typo in these things, and I finally found one.
He was awarded the Crankite Order of Tactics, the class of excellence by Starfleet Command for his role in the Zavolta Planetary Geosciences Survey Expedition.
No.
And then granted promotion to the rank of captain in Stardate 47203, assigned command of the USS Titan. It says he was assigned command of the Titan before he had the command of the Enterprise.
Yeah.
What the hell's that? And then it says on Stardate 49472, Riker, commanding the Titan, assigned to patrol the Romulan neutral zone and to provide tactical support to Starbase 384. Following the conclusion of the Praetor campaign, Riker was awarded the Starfleet Medal of Honor and citation for conspicuous gallantry for his role in detecting and preventing a Romulan preemptive strike on the Gamma Hydra sector. You know, these little screens that they never expect us to read. We just read one. So take that, Michael and Denise Okuda, who almost certainly wrote all this up.
They definitely did.
The command of the USS Titan was a little, I guess, a foreshadow to what he would eventually be his command. Anyway, we've got a comment here from the Trek reviewer. Is this the SD or the HD version of the episode? Because when they put this in, they have changed some of the... I think you might be right. This is the HD version, the Blu-ray version. And it's possible they changed what that screen said for this version. That's something to look into for fun facts, Adam.
Look at that version. Look at that look that Riker's giving that kid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, where he was like, oh, the computer, it will start working again soon. And he was just like, what are you talking about? How do you know about computers?
Norman says it's like CompuServe downloading speed. Dave, you wouldn't remember CompuServe because you were born in 1995 or something. But
83, but
yeah, same thing.
Enough. Yeah. So then we got Riker, Picard, and Troy. They're heading to meet the Romulan ambassador. Who could this Romulan ambassador be? And he materializes. It's Tomalak from
Love
Babylon
it.
5. And Riker is given stink eye to Ambassador Tomalak from the minute he materializes. He's, who let this Romulan on our ship? Every time we met this guy, he's been crazy and wanted to kill us.
Riker's got the worst poker face ever.
He's supposedly good at poker. Like, even if he's supposed to accept all these, this whole premise of like, okay, you are helping to build this peace with the Romulans. This is not. He knows better than to do this. But I think this is to establish for the audience, especially for younger kids.
Dave, we can't hear you.
Dave, is there a bad connection on your mic or something?
Testing.
No, you've dropped right down. Oh, you're back.
There's something like shorting.
Nope, you're gone again. It's like you have a faulty connection. It's like phasing in and out.
Hello?
Just like my camera.
Nope, now it's nothing. I think Barash is controlling all of our technology this evening as well. Norman says Tomalak and the captain in Face of the Enemy are the best Romulans. I love Face of the Enemy. That's a great episode too.
Me too.
Yeah, so good. That was such a gag. Like Troy wakes up in the middle of the night and goes and looks in the mirror, and she's a Romulan face. Amazing.
Can you hear me?
Crackly.
Just a little bit.
Can you hear this?
No, you can't. Don't even try.
Yes, loud and clear.
There's something. I can try the other mic. Any better?
Yep. There you are.
All right, we'll go with this one then. Sorry. All right. Tomalak from Babylon 5. Andreas Katsoulis proves Babylon 5 is the best.
He was also the one-armed man in Fugitive.
He also was that too, yes. But most notably, Jakar on Babylon 5.
Most notably.
Most notably. Notable to whom, Dave?
To me. And to all Babylon 5 fans.
Fan.
Everywhere.
Well, there was a couple.
Babylon 5 fan.
The
millions. There was a
maybe
few
billions of us out there.
There was a few on Monday's podcast. That was really
That's right. We're out there.
True. That is true.
The truth is out there about Jakar, his definitive performance, the performance of his life. It's not Tomalak, it's Jakar. Anyway, we got to keep this moving, but Riker, he's like, how could we let Tomalak come on board? And Troy's like, come on, that was years ago. He's so much nicer now.
All those deaths that he caused.
All those deaths. How he threatened to bring the hull of the Enterprise back as a trophy to Romulus.
That was just a joke.
That was, come on, bygones be bygones. And they're heading up there in the turbo lift. Riker's like, I might be willing to make peace with the Romulans, but this Romulan? Really?
That scene, go back one. Just like I could just hear the elevator music playing while they're sitting there.
Babylon 5. Anyway, it's probably what they would say. Although this is before Babylon 5 even premiered. Anyway, so they come out onto the bridge here, and I think Tomalak's like, I don't think a Romulan's ever been allowed to walk around the Enterprise. Like, this is pretty credible, and Worf doesn't even care about it, so that's nice. But just then, like, Riker's like, I need to have a special meeting with Picard and Troy right away. Data, like, show Tomalak around, okay, and give him the tour. Which they go is like, hey, have you ever seen these monitors? They got sensors.
No.
Anyway.
What he showed him was, this is how we detect you guys when you're cloaked.
This is how we detect you when you're cloaked. Yeah, giving away all these secrets. And then they're meeting here with Riker and Picard and Troy, and he's like, they want to find out where Starbase 21 is, or 23 or whatever it was. Like our special base. And Picard's like, come on, that's outdated information. They don't give a damn about any of that. Like they're just here for peace, and we need you to make it happen. What do we think about Riker's version of the Ready Room, which has got this huge amethyst geode in it behind him?
I feel like we saw that before. I want to say in a Lwaxana episode.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen it before.
And how about Riker's painting?
Riker is into energy crystals.
He's probably into energy crystals, yeah. And what about his painting?
It's
not as cool as Picard's painting of the Enterprise. I can tell you
I think it's so weird that Picard just has a painting of the Enterprise in his ready room on the Enterprise.
Well, and even I don't know if I have a shot of it, but on Riker's desk he has a model. I don't have a shot of it, but it's a model of like a Nebula class starship. I'm like, why does Riker have that? Did he ever have it? Did he serve on a Nebula class?
Go forward again. Yeah. The one Yucca that they keep on the ship, and they moved it into the ready room.
They keep the plant?
Yeah. I see that plant in so many episodes, like stuffed into the corner of rooms and everything, and I'm sure it's the same one.
Like, are we ready to hit action, Mr. Director? Not yet. Get me a plant. No.
Somebody get the plant.
Get the Yucca.
Yeah.
Get it in there. Anyway, but Riker is then called away to an emergency meeting in sick bay because his son has been injured and he needs to come down right away. Jean-Luc Riker.
I'm sorry to interrupt. That's another clue that they were leaving for us, that this isn't quite right, because every time Riker starts to get suspicious, something happens. He's called to sick bay for his son. There's an emergency with, I forget what the other thing was. You know what I mean? Like there's
always something to like sort of like before he can realize there's something weird happening here or this isn't right. He's like he's misdirected. He's called away. Yeah. We find out that his son Jean-Luc Riker has been playing Parisi Squares. They did keep that same Parisi Squares outfit, which Daddy Riker is not happy about. He's like saying, like, you're at your age, you could have broken your neck. And then Beverly pulls him aside and says, how old were you when you started playing Parisi Squares? This most deadly of games. And he's like, I was probably younger than him, actually. But it's different, which is kind of a little trope here. But parent advice from fake Beverly. Riker's mind is manifesting this. And, this could be that he respects Beverly as a parent. So he would take advice from Beverly, if he were to become a parent. There's, you can maybe make your own judgment calls there, based on Beverly's propensity to run off and have Jack Crusher without telling anybody. But anyway, then we got so Captain Riker then reunites with his son and says, "I'm not so mad at you, son, for the whole nearly killing yourself in Parisi Squares. Come on, let's go, and I'll take care of you. I'm going to show you how good of a dad I can be." And he's like, "Hey, I feel really sorry about you losing your mom and me not remembering anything. And, we're going to make memories together. We'll make new ones together here." And we've seen like Riker trying to like live up to being a dad and putting aside all of this stuff with the Romulans and everything else that's going on. That's now what matters to him. He talks about his relationship with his own father, how when his mother died, his father really wasn't around very much and how that caused some strain. So he doesn't want to repeat those same patterns. They even, as they're walking to the quarters, they're like, "Hey, you want to go fishing together? This place, fish some creek or something." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been there so many times. Can't wait to go fishing with you."
Curtis
and
Creek.
They get back to the quarters.
Riker's, so he's got the Horgon and then he has like a torso with titties.
Yeah, I guess this is some kind of art, but it's, kind of suggestive. Hey, if you're raising a kid in your quarters, you got to just stay who you are, right? You got to keep your own decor.
True. Trek Reviewer says maybe young Jean-Luc should have been playing Ambo Jitsu instead. Well, that would have been good for them to have a emotionally loaded father-son sparring bout.
That would have been something. He's like, I beat up my father in Ambo Jitsu once, and now you have to do the same to me. Or never have my true approval. So anyway, Riker or Jean-Luc here goes to change out of his Parisi Squares outfit. And as he does this, Captain Riker, as he is, he's like, call up, the family record. I want to see the family memories that I've had here with my family. So we see some videos, fake videos, I guess, hologram videos of him and Jean-Luc.
Filming?
I guess Minuet.
The computer.
And then he says, can you show me Mrs. Riker, please? And they're like, what? We weren't expecting you to ask for that. Then young Jean-Luc shows up. Well, as we know, Jean-Luc is Barack, who's kind of, pulling the strings of this whole illusion. So he's always there to kind of say, is that what you're looking for, Dad? There you go. Let's pull up the record. And again, more of Riker wrestling with Jean-Luc, because that's what fathers and sons always do. They always wrestle with each other. And then we see Mrs. Riker show up. It is Minuet. It's Carolyn McCormick who played Minuet in that episode, and she more notably played the psychiatrist on Law and Order, who I really know her from that. On what?
More notably, was she ever on Babylon 5 though, Dave?
I don't know if she was on Babylon 5. I don't think so. But she was in so many episodes of Law and Order. Like every time they needed, like, they're like, this person's claiming like I'm not guilty by reason of insanity. Then you have to bring in Carolyn McCormick, who would then do her little psychic evaluation on the accused, and they go, they're faking it. It's a fake. That was always her role.
Interesting here. She's another birthday's being celebrated.
But I guess it's meant to be Jean-Luc's birthday.
That's a lot of candles. I don't know.
It's fewer than and Riker does not recognize Minuet right away. Like he's looking at it, and go, okay, I guess that's your mom.
Because look what she's wearing, and she has mom hair on, and it's just this is not the Minuet he fell in love with in the holodeck.
She's missing the red dress.
Horrible hair on the holodeck. Yes, let's not forget.
It's worse than that. It's better than this hair.
Yeah. So get some kisses here and everything else, and then like I don't know, they're waving to the camera here. I guess the drone camera they presumably have, the computer, and it's here that this is when he finally goes, oh, this is all fake. He looks at Jean-Luc here and he's just like, who are you? Where am I? What is going on? But he does, and the kid knows there's something off, but he doesn't know how to place it. Just then, to Heather's point, he gets called away to the bridge. On my way, he heads up there. And then he runs into Jody. He goes, Jody, what's going on with the computers? He goes, I'm running a diagnostic for 4 hours. There's no way you could be that incompetent. It would never take you more than 1. And then he goes, Worf, where's that scar from? He goes, in battle. What battle? What sector? What place? What year? You don't know, do you? Goes after Data. Data, tell me how long it would take us to get to this base if we left right now. At warp 1, at warp 7, at warp 9. Where are all those thousands of calculations? And Data can't say it. But then Data uses a contraction, which really enforces the idea here to Riker that this is all off. Picard and Tomalak and Troy show up, and he tells him to shut up. You can shut up and stop talking.
Shut up. Beg your pardon. I said shut up. As in close your mouth and stop talking.
Shut up. Shut up, all of you. I'm not putting up with this ruse any longer. And there's this moment here where, like, they used to do this in TV shows where there's going to be this, like, holodeck reveal or whatever. You can obviously see that Andreas Katsoulis is on a green screen, across from the rest of them. Although they do have Worf kind of imposed in here in the foreground a little bit. And then they disappear. And, the set is revealed. The first misdirect, the first red herring, I guess, as Riker is revealed to be in a massive Romulan holodeck. After the credits, they use this little light device to remove like his old age makeup and his new like.
It looks like a stapler. It looks like a stapler that they like stapled some plastic around.
Hold still. We're gonna take off your gray makeup. You're with a stapler that lights up. It probably is a stapler with some lights on it.
Yeah.
And brings back his rank. Like when they couldn't even feel his rank. He couldn't even like if they were just holographically taken away. You think you would know. His comm badge changes.
You can get rid of my gray hair by doing this.
You can do it just by using the light. That's how it works.
That's so you got to get a stapler at him, and you can just de-age yourself.
Where's it? I've got one somewhere.
Anyway, then Tom Lux, what was it? How did you figure out our ruse? He's like, well, one thing, the computer wasn't working very fast. He's like, we have to scan your brain and then make it up, and it's hard with humans. And then he goes, what else? Minuet. Like, there's no way I knew she was fake because she was never a real person in the first place. He's like, it can't be. You were in love with her.
You know what? Sorry, that comment there,
Alpha says, sure, Riker gets into fake realities a lot.
Because he can't act in the real series. They have to give him stories that may work for him.
All this Riker hate. Yeah. Poor Riker. What a misunderstood character.
I used to love Riker. He used to
be your guy. Now he's like
the butt leader. Oh my god.
Yeah. Then fake Tomalak, I guess, puts Riker into a cell with a boy. He's like, he's not the real Jean-Luc. You've never met him. We used his image to create the kid for the simulation. And he gets locked in here for a minute with the kid who is now called Ethan. And Ethan's all timid and scared. And he's like, I'm not going to hurt you, kid. Come on. What's going on? How long have you been here? He's like, yeah, my parents were running like this outpost on the neutral zone. And then the Romulans captured us and they took my parents away. And it's like the sad story, blah, blah, blah. What are we going to do? Then Tomalak comes back. It feels like a couple minutes later. And he wants to know where Starbase 23 is. Like this, I'm like if Riker didn't know this was fake yet, like, just the way Tomalak is acting here is not consistent with Romulan interrogation tactics, I would say. I don't think they lock you up for 2 seconds and then come back 10 seconds later, necessarily. But, Riker's not talking. Then Jean-Luc, or Ethan, I guess, he runs off And then Riker has to act man of action. He punches Tomalak. He takes the disruptor. He's able to mount this daring escape from the cell he was in for a couple seconds. Kills a couple Romulans. Maybe he doesn't kill them. Maybe he just stuns them, but they're fake Romulans anyway. Heads in. They hide into this little vent thing because Ethan had earlier said, "Oh, I was able to escape for a few weeks and then hide, but when I came out for food, that's when
you continue to use the paper. The office supplies there with a paper clip.
Yeah, use the paper clip to just keep the grate on. There's no way.
They're only 8 episodes into the season and they already blew the budget. They're using staplers and paper clips now.
They're like, we have no money left. Go get that stapler off his desk and put some lights on it. It's going to be now a transformative thingy. Anyway, so then they're trying to get into the grate here with Ethan and Riker, but they can't get in. And then we come back after the commercial break and they're scanning, but the scan doesn't even pick them up. And Riker's like, that doesn't make sense. They should be able to scan us. And the kid's like, no, there's stuff in these rocks. They can't detect heavy metal. He's like, look, I have a little map and we can go to the shuttle bay and we can maybe steal a shuttle. And Riker's like, that's a bad idea. How about we just get to the communications device, blah, blah, blah. And this is where Ethan gives himself away. He's like, no, only Ambassador Tomalak can use it. And this is where Riker goes, no, that doesn't make sense. Tomalak was only an ambassador in that simulation that you were supposedly not in or had no knowledge of. So this doesn't make any sense. And the kid tries to, misdirect or backtrack, but it doesn't work. Riker kind of knows. He's still in an illusion at this point because just then Tomalak shows up and he wants answers and, he's ready to play rough here, but Riker's not playing down. He knows that Ethan is behind it. And just then Tomalak and all the Romulans disappear once again. And the simulation again comes down. The second time you realize it's a simulation inside a simulation. And we get a little bit more to the truth here. Ethan, admitting that he was sort of the only person that was real all along. Back on the Enterprise, we see that they are finally able to detect Riker once again. They picked up his signal. And they're like, hey, let's go down.
Scooby-Doo episode. It was you all along.
Yeah, exactly.
You got away with it too.
If it was for you nasty kids. Anyway, he's like, hey, we're going to beam you up. And Riker, then he wants answers. Why did you kidnap me? Why did you put me in this simulation? Why all this? And he tells this story about how his family, his species were in a war and they were being hunted by those people. And his mother and him they fled here and they set this up. And he said they would never stop hunting her. So she had to kind of give herself up so that her son, Barack here, could be free. And he explains the mind scanner devices that exist inside this place that can be used to give you whatever you want. But even though he could live inside the simulation, he wanted someone real. That's why he brought Riker here. He wanted despite being able to get or create whatever he wanted, it wasn't enough. He wanted some semblance of reality, and that's why he brought Riker into this. And so after a while, he reveals his true form. He's not a young boy, but he's one of these aliens from X-Files.
Shitty alien.
Talk about their budget being used up. But, at least he looks really different.
I like his fingers.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he's still wearing the sweater.
This was not much better than TOS. A TOS episode.
It feels like an original series Alien, doesn't it?
It does,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
They were doing some interesting things with the eyes, like them blinking kind of weird colors and stuff. But yeah, it was a little rudimentary. But it only has to be on camera for this last scene, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
That's why they had to use staplers and paper clips for props. They were like, okay, we're spending all the money on the alien at the end. Go to Staples and get us some office supplies.
Yeah, and
that we can reuse in our offices.
Riker's like, okay, kid, or Barack, let's beam you out, or two to beam up. And we never hear about Barack again, but I guess he got to live happily ever after in the Federation. So thanks to Riker.
First contact.
It was a first contact too, technically. So we don't know if Barack's the only member of his species left, but maybe.
I think it was Barash.
Barash.
Oh, I'm sorry, Barash.
I think you're
I'm not-
yearning for the old president when things were better.
Mhm.
Barack Obama. No.
Yes, and Norman said that in the comments. As much as I'd rather Barack was still president right now.
Yeah, okay. My apologies. Barash, as he's known. Yeah, and of course, the great Andreas Katsoulis as fake Tomlock from Babylon 5.
Now all three, Worf, Data, and Riker, abandoned a kid.
Yeah, well, they have to do it. They all have to, keep up with each other.
Data's kid died. That's not abandonment.
He didn't make him good enough, or her good enough.
Yeah, that's a good point there.
That is a cruel take on one of the most beautiful and touching episodes in all of Star Trek. And you're like, well, he fucked it up and she died.
Maybe they're not referring to Lal. Maybe they're referring to another kid.
Yes, that's certainly possible.
So, okay, well, fun fact us, Adam.
I
want
will.
sexiness. I want fun factiness.
Dave, just pull something I put in the Facebook chat there a picture that I really think was actually a nice picture, because we really rag on Gene Roddenberry, but there's a great photo of him there from this episode.
Give me a second.
Sexy fun facts with Adam. How much Riker hate will we have?
Okay, I got it.
Sorry, I cut it off there, but it's Riker. He visited the set here, and you can see like the genuine, actually, I think, happiness on his face when he's talking to Jonathan Frakes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jonathan. Okay, so Roddenberry handpicked Frakes, because Frakes and Roddenberry had to have the same birthday, like different years, obviously, but they were born on the same day. And it was coming down between Frakes and another actor. I can't remember who it was, but basically, like, Roddenberry was like, "There's something with Frakes and that charm, that smile. You almost see it here on Roddenberry's face, right? Like little smile you see sometimes from Riker, almost a little bit like mischievous, I would say. That's definitely what Roddenberry liked about Jonathan Frakes.
And you can see the kid there. He's obviously just met him or something. He's come and meet the kid.
Yeah. And I also want to just mention too that maybe this will come up in fun facts here too, but in the previous episode, which was Reunion, the Reunion, the one where Worf and Duras fight, that episode was directed by Frakes. So he went from directing the previous episode to then being the lead in this episode, assuming that they were filmed back to back, so that was probably a hard one for him.
Okay, so let's talk about this episode. So Bron and Braga recalled we had some amazing pitches, but the most notable we ever heard was Future Imperfect, where the team came in and said, we have a story where Riker wakes up in an accident 15 years in the future. He has a son. He's the captain of the Enterprise, but he has no idea what happened. Mike Pillar said, "Stop, we'll buy it."
Hey, it's not a bad pitch, Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The only major change to the original pitch was the addition of the Romulan fantasy within the fantasy, or the Matrix within the Matrix, as somebody said in the chat. Pillar commented the first draft was a little flat. After we got into the story, just like Remember Me, we had a situation where we're into it and something strange is happening, but we just can't turn out to be a dream at the end because it's not satisfying. So you have to do something a little different.
Right.
Did these writers ever go on to write anything else? That's what I'm kind of.
Well, their names are. You know the names.
I can tell. J. Larry Carroll. He only wrote this episode. He also, he wrote on other shows, but he only wrote this episode. And the other guy who he co-wrote it with, David Bennett Karen. He also only wrote this episode. So interesting. I think they wrote a pretty good episode, but that was it.
The Turbolift scene where Riker and Barash was added because the episode was running short. Carolyn Karen met with Rick Berman and Michael Pillar to create a new scene the night before it was filmed. I like hearing stories like that because, when we, again, on the cruise day, when we were in the Star Trek cruise, they talked about the pace of filming these 26 episodes was just so intense, and they were making scene changes along the way. And again, that reinforces that.
And there's always, I guess, there's always these rules too with the unions, the writers' unions, and like who can do what and how what you can make up on the fly and what you can't, and it's pretty rigid in a lot of ways too.
Oh, Heather, you're gonna like this one. In the episode's title is a play on words. In grammar, an imperfect tense is one where the verb describes an unfinished action, i.e., is doing. The future imperfect, therefore, takes the form will be doing. In this episode, the false reality set in the future created by the alien for Riker was inaccurate or imperfect in ways that allowed him to figure out what was going on.
Yes, being a grammar nerd, I did get that double entendre. Thanks, Star Trek.
There you go. And Dave, our favorite character, Andreas Katsulas, he was not comfortable with his recurring role as Tomalak in this episode. And I'll tell you why. He felt much more comfortable when he was an incredible giant on the screen, just the face. Suddenly, when he had to account for everything else, he didn't feel
when he actually had to be in the room with the rest of them,
yeah,
and like play physically with them. Yeah,
he didn't feel support. Nothing was supporting what I was doing. I was more happy to reoccur. I wasn't happy to reoccur unless I was just going back to the screen character.
Yeah, he liked being just on the other side of the view screen.
That giant face looking over,
But maybe it only set him up to be on Babylon 5. He was going to have to be on camera all the time. Like Jakar, a very different character than Tomalak, but similar in other ways. If only you knew. If only you knew.
If only we knew. Someday, Dave, I might know, but not today.
One day, not today. Okay, well, it's an imperfect future or present, if you will.
Yep.
But with that, let's.
We're not done. We're not done.
We're not done.
Yeah. Michael Westmore.
The facts are still fun, Dave.
I never know with Adam because sometimes he's like, I'm done now, right? And I go, I don't know.
Sometimes they're just boring facts. Okay, Michael Westmore recalled that the aging makeup in this episode was intentionally done to be more subtle than previous installments. Each member of the Star Trek cast was supposed to have aged 16 years. The producers decided that rather than having each actor sit in makeup for 2 and 3 hours, it would be better just to suggest their age by changing their hairstyles and maybe doing a little rubber stretching around the eyes. I thought it sensible. I thought it a sensible approach because most of the actors were in their 30s, and even aging them 16 years would only put them in their 40s. Most people don't look that dramatically different at that age, and it would be a waste of time.
Yeah, well, I think that's all fair. Like, I think there was also this expectation, I think, especially in like 1990, of how much older you would look in the future. Like, there's that episode of the original series, The Deadly Years, where they all had to get aged up because there was like that age virus, and like the way that Shatner looks in that episode is insane. Like,
or McCoy.
Or McCoy, right? Because we know what Shatner looked like as an older man, and it was not like that at all.
Well, he's 94. He doesn't look like that.
Doesn't look like that. Yeah. It's definitely some, like, I think about like the Back to the Future old age makeup too, and like how dramatic it can be for like when you're just.
Well, I mean, when you look at those actors from like we're doing like, what's his name, Wilford Brimley, Fish, the guy who played Fish, Abe Vigoda, like they looked old.
Everyone looked older back in the day. Like, but think so if you just like go to real world example, like, so 16 years after this episode would be 2006 in our world. And that's around the same time that Riker was they brought him and Marina Sirtis back for the finale, that awful finale of Star Trek Enterprise, where they're supposed to only be 6 years older than this, or 5 years, but they looked so old in that episode, but not because they had gray hair. It was just they looked puffier. Like, that's what you want to do. If you want old age makeup, you just go puffy.
Sure.
Since you mentioned Abe Vigoda, I feel like I have to mention this triad of fun facts together. Riker plays the trombone. Jonathan Frakes plays the trombone. He played on a Fish album and the song is called Riker's Mailbox. And Fish also has a song called Wombat that references Abe Vigoda. And he came out on stage with them dressed in the Wombat costume. It's all together. The funnest of facts.
It is. It's great. Thank you, Heather. As I listened to it, Frakes did an interview on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast, Inside of You, and he told the whole story about when he went. Fish brought him in because they're like, "Oh, wait, we'll have Riker," and then he plays the trombone, and they're like, oh, you're not like a professional trombone player. Like, so we're going to have to like figure this out a little bit. But,
Yeah.
you know, I also thought you were going to say Riker plays the trombone, Jonathan Frakes plays the trombone, Dave Mater plays the trombone.
I should have.
It's okay. I just, for next
Get your
time.
trombone out for next pod, Dave.
Hey, Dave, on aging, you know, I mean, I started with you guys in 2020, 6 years ago. It'd be kind of fun to show us all over the years, you know.
Yeah, we do need to go back to 2020, Adam, compare.
Not just me, everybody who's been here for a long time. But okay, one more, guys. I'll just leave it here. But Gates McFadden did wear a wig during season 4, but in this episode, her own hair is actually seen pinned up with streaked with gray.
That's her own hair.
Yeah, the color is slightly redder than the wig she wears during this season.
They took her beautiful, beautiful natural hair and they pinned it up like that and put a gray streak in it. What a crying shame.
And they make her wear a wig is the more confusing part for me. Like
the reason that they have her wear a wig for, I think, 4 of the 7 seasons is because it's hard on your natural hair to be heat styling it and all of that stuff all the time. So she would wear a wig kind of as a protective style for her own hair. But I've seen a tweet from her before where she says it's her own hair in seasons 1, 6, 7, I think. And she wasn't on 2 and it was a wig for 3, 4, 5, if I'm not mistaken. But I didn't know it was her real hair in this episode. That's a good fun fact. And now we have a fun fact request. Fun fact trivia. Who has the most posters on this panel?
Probably
it's
Adam.
Not me. It's not me, although I do have 3 more up here that you can never see.
Depends what you consider a poster, but
yeah, they're paintings.
Like I have a lot of stuff, and like Adam's been into this room, Heather, you have not. Like, and so you know there's a lot on the walls here, but Adam's got a lot going on there too.
I've not been invited to the captain's private quarters.
You are invited when next time you're in Ontario.
I have a lot, but I branched out, you know, onto my other kind of loves in science fiction. Here you see, where am I here? I like the Doctor Who here. 900 Years of Time.
Space. I've never met anyone who wasn't important.
And then, of course, my quote from Blade Runner. You know, all those moments will be lost in time, like tears and rain. I love that quote. So yeah, and then of course Battlestar, which we're going to do someday. We got to do Battlestar Galactica.
One day. We also have to do Babylon 5 one day, but we'll have to wait for that. So, okay. Well, thank you, Adam. Are you done?
Yeah, let's get into ratings.
I don't want to. No.
Thanks, Dave, for asking this time. We're done.
No problem. Okay, everyone, let's get to ratings and our scores for this episode. I do have all 3 of you, or both of you, 3 of us, I guess, represented here because I sometimes have to unhide the columns. Man, I'm bright tonight. Okay, jeez. All right. Well, the score for Future Imperfect, everyone. I'll go first. It's not a 10, but it's pretty good. It doesn't hold up for me as strong as it did when I was a kid. But I think I'm 8.5 for this. This is a strong episode. Adam?
I don't really love it. 6. Tough crowd. Okay, Heather.
Tough crowd. I love this episode. This is a 9 for me. It's just one that I really like. It has a lot of components that I really like. Are there plot holes? Sure. Are there maybe things that are a bit out of character for some characters? Yeah, maybe. But I think it's really fun. It's an original idea. And I just like it. 9.
Well, thank you, Heather. We're averaging a 7.8 here. We got a 9 from Norman.
Oh, sorry. 9 from Norman.
And a
7 from Stargazer.
Nice. Solid ratings. If Sam's still with us, let us know what you think, Sam. All right. Well, I think so that wraps up Future Imperfect. Not so, or maybe a little imperfect for Adam, but, not horrible. Looking ahead to the next episode here on Live Long and Podcast that we'll be covering of Star Trek The Next Generation. It is called Final Mission.
I like this episode a lot.
In this episode, after learning that he finally has been accepted to Starfleet Academy, Wesley Crusher welcomes Picard's invitation to accompany him on a away mission that could resolve a mining dispute on an arid world, but following a shuttle crash and a near disastrous search for water that leaves the captain near death, Wesley finds himself charged with the weighty responsibility of keeping both himself and Picard alive until a rescue team can locate them. So look out for that. Right? Yeah.
Jim says it's an 8 because there's too many twists. I like twists.
Yeah. What's wrong with twists?
Well, everybody's entitled to their opinion. No twists.
I only want a max of 1 twist. Like, beyond that, it's just excessive. Anyway, so yeah, we got Final Mission. Now we also have Star Trek: Strange New Worlds apparently starting up in July. So we are starting to look ahead to that and figuring out how we're going to balance our other shows. It's 5 more weeks, right? So we got to figure it out. But if you didn't know, right now on Mondays we're covering Firefly. There's about 14 episodes of Firefly we're going to be running through. We may have to put that on hold eventually when Strange New Worlds comes back into our lives. But we'll be on this Monday to talk about the second episode, and also kind of the first episode, the original pilot, or the aired pilot, I guess, the train job on Monday. Check that out on the Firefly podcast. And yeah, we just wrapped up Survivor on the Super Mater Brothers podcast. Make sure to check out Jason and Steven over on the Hey Did You See This one. They're always like doing a deep dive movie review every Thursday night.
Do they have guests on that?
Oh yeah, like I've been on it a couple times. Let me just have a quick look at what they're doing tonight, because they've already started. I know. But if you go on that show, Adam, you better be ready for like a
marathon,
5-hour podcast about one movie. It's kind of incredible. So yeah, tonight they're talking about The Cabin in the Woods with their special guest Graham Pass, who actually I was on with Graham when we talked Wrath of Khan some time ago, which was a lot of fun. So yeah, check out those guys as well. I'm a fan of this one too.
I think Stargazer was talking about Final Mission.
Oh, Final Mission. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Final Mission, and like it's kind of sad because Will Wheaton leaves the show officially at this point. But and we'll get into some of that. I think that will come up in. I don't know if there'll be fun facts, but we'll talk.
No, I was going to say there are definitely some not so fun facts about that and about his treatment at the hands of Rick Berman, especially.
Labor facts.
Guys, I just read actually I missed this one. Can I add one tonight, please?
Sure.
Bonus fun fact.
Data was actually going to be the chief science officer when he was first cast on the Enterprise Next Gen, like Spock in the original series, and wear a blue uniform. However, get this, Heather, I think of you when I read stuff like this. The color blue clashed with the android makeup, and the idea was changed. Data was reassigned as chief operations officer and sported the gold uniform for all 7 seasons. Yeah, I have read that before as well. That's the only reason he's not a science officer, because it looked bad with his makeup.
But I would love to see that screen test and see how bad it really looked. I don't think it was.
Well, it would have really washed out the gold makeup,
I guess.
Well, they never had him in. They only had him in red. And there was this episode.
Yeah, you never see him in blue. We saw him in red in this episode.
But it's just so weird that we never see a dedicated science officer, not just on the Enterprise, but also
and everything. Voyage. It's like that whole position went away.
But except on Deep Space Nine, Deep Space. Yeah.
Right. Sorry.
But when Jadzia dies, they don't replace her.
Yeah, but Deep Space Nine was a stationary station. It didn't go anywhere.
But like Esri is not a science officer. Esri is a counselor, right? So she's a different profession. It's the same division.
Oh, Esri. Yes.
Yeah. That's a whole other topic.
Oh, you're hating on Esri now too. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. It's over here, everyone. No, you can't.
No, you can't. Don't even try.
Yeah, it's
Shut
right.
up.
Shut up, Wesley. Come on, let's get out of here.
No, shut up, Wesley.
Beg your pardon. I said shut up. As in close your mouth and stop talking.
Every time you criticize Riker, that's the sound clip we're going to
play. We're going to play that
Do
every
it.
time.
Do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to end this charade for tonight. Thank you for being with us. Jody Simpson, wherever you are, we missed you. And we will see you next time here on Live Long and Podcast. Let's get out of here.
I'm running a level 1 diagnostic.
For 30 hours, I would never take you more than 4. You're incapable of that level of incompetence, Mr. LaForge. Worf, where did you get that scar? In combat. What battle? When? Which sector? Which unit? Mr. Data, if we left immediately, when would we arrive at Outpost 23? At Warp 1, 3 days, 4 hours. What about at Warp 7? At Warp 8? At warp 9? What's the matter, Data? What happened to those millions of calculations per second?
Pardon me, sir. I can't operate as quickly as...
What did you say?
I said I cannot operate...
No, that's not what you said. You said I can't. You used a contraction, didn't you?
Sir, I can explain if you would just give me a moment.
No, you can't. Don't even try.
Try.
Captain, perhaps it would be best if we discuss this.
Shut up!
Beg your pardon.
I said shut up! As in close your mouth and stop talking.
Thanks, Chad.
Well,
Good night.
Would anyone else like to speak up? Or shall we end this charade?
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.